44% of home sellers are giving concessions to buyers. We're almost to the record setting of that. That's pretty amazing. Now, this is written by obviously a point of view, but if you're selling your house, I've told you this in the last couple of weeks, concessions are coming hard and fast. It's a normal thing now. Eventually it'll go away. Once rates drop, prices will spike, home buyers will jump back into the market. But right now we have high rates. We have a lot of propaganda in the news talking about tariffs and the economy and all this other stuff. Still going strong. People are still buying houses, but you got to coax them to buy it a little bit. I just wrote an offer, a lowball offer on a house, and it came back pretty much back where we started, at the list price and no concessions. We're going to play it patient. The thing is, 4 years ago, there was so much demand, there was so much competition that you had to increase prices. You had to offer all these different things as a buyer. Now it's coming back to becoming a balanced market, right? We have 1,400 homes on market in Santa Clara County. That's close to being a balanced market, right? We're reaching that threshold, and it's good. Concessions are rising, most in Seattle and Portland. Some sellers are lowering their price in addition to offering concessions. 13% of home pending sales were canceled last month. It's true. We have 20% of our houses that are listed right now in Santa Clara County have dropped prices. Is this a bad time? No, we're just bringing it back down to normal. We're bringing it to a balanced market. Sellers have had it so good for so long. Sorry about this light right in my face. I got the sun coming through my shades. Sellers have had it good for so long that we're spoiled. Agents are spoiled. Agents were demanding and commanding things on the MLS, on their listings, saying this is what we expect. A free car, your first baby, gold-laden, whatever. TVs, we want you to help pay for the move, everything, because we got comfortable in it. And this is actually good for us to bring us back to a balanced market, especially here in the Silicon Valley. I know you hate to hear this as a homeowner, but buyers are still out there. They're still willing to buy houses, right? Now, this article you can find the link in my blog. Blog is linked in the description down below, but it also says spring home buyer season sputters as supply jumps to 5-year high. I don't think it's 5-year, especially not here, but I'll do a chart for you so you can see. Existing home sales dropped to a 6-month low. Why? Because of the propaganda that we're seeing, because rates are staying high. It should be at about 5.5% to 6%. But we're not dropping it down that far. Why? Without going into political jargon and blah, 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 I can tell you that there's a whole bunch of reasons why, right? More people I know are getting laid off or have been out of a job for up to 2 years now. It's crazy. People are they're trying to find houses or find jobs, but if you're threatened to lose your job in any way, shape, or form, whether you feel it or you've been told, you're not going to go out and buy $1 million house or a $2 million house. You're just not. So when the economy feels like we're coming into a correction, which we're talking recession, there's less buyers in the market, right? If you're a hot commodity and people are calling, recruiters are calling you every day, you're probably feeling like you could buy a house, but you never know when that act might happen if you have a job. Housing supplies rises to highest levels in 5 years. Okay, by a percentage, right? Where we are right now in the Silicon Valley, we'll get to that in a second. This is all across the nation, right? Median sales price is $438,000. 2021, the median sales price in the US was 416. So that's when the market was crazy hot, when we had the firestorm of the market. Now we're just adjusting back to normal, and we're still seeing prices increase slightly. 1.8 month over month, 1.8 month over month change year over year is 1.4. It's not the 8% that we're used to, but that's because we're coming into a correction. It's good. Are houses still selling? Yes. We had 137 houses sell this last week. 137, right? 20% price reductions. Of the 1,300 homes that are, oh, it's actually more now. I missed that. It's 1,400 homes for sale. I don't have that with me right now. Let me check. Yeah, I don't have that. So you're going to have to deal with that. It's 1,400. It's actually good because we're in a market where it it helps understand where we are, right? Let's go into Los Gatos Home of the Week. Bird Ave, not my listing, $2.4 million, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. Crazy, 1946. And look, I can't tell if this is the house and that's the neighbor. It's like the same color house, right? Well, what are you buying it for? You're buying it for the land because people are putting McMansions up. See, they X'd that out. I don't know what they did there, but yep, just a basic house. Something like that I would have tried to sell as the potential of building a big McMansion on it, but they obviously put some love and interest in it, staged it up. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't really do a whole lot. There's an extra room. So yeah, what they're selling is the potential of the land. You can put a nice house on it, but 2.4, we'll see how long it takes. It's been on market 5 days, and you're still on Santa Cruz, near Santa Cruz Ave, but you're on the other side, and you're close to the freeway. So I don't know. I think I'd pick something else. This is this week's highs and lows. This one's Palo Alto. It's the highest list price or sold price in Santa Clara County. It took 7 days to sell. See, houses are still selling. Now, the luxury market's completely different than the regular resale market because people that have, they're not really worried about recessions. They're not worried about interest rates, right? And this is a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath, almost 4,000 square foot house, and it sold for $8.5 million. And it did come in just under, it was 87% of list price. List price, yeah. Not really, it's like 95. I don't know why that came in. And then this one right here, Sugar Pine Drive, sold for 100% of the list price, took 16 days to sell. And by this picture, you can't really tell which one it is. Oh, it's an attached. That's why. It's an attached house. Because on the other side of this house is another house. Not a big fan of those. And, you know, typically they're not going to be upgraded. I think this one has an HOA. Yeah, $380 a month for the privilege of being attached to a neighbor. That's awesome. Let's go to the next one. This is the highest sales price to list price ratio, 167% of list price, 2.18 to 3.55. This is a standard 1,000 square foot. Why did it go for so much? Because houses in Palo Alto are going for a lot of money. And if you look, it's a large lot. This looks like a rinconada. Yeah. You're buying it for the location. That's what you're buying. And if you see everything else around there, they have all been built up over time. And this is the last remaining one. So good for them. And then the lowest sold, Clayton Road. Huh. This is the lowest list price to sales price. It started off at 1.9, sat on the market for 100 days. That's what happens when you overprice. And it sold for $1.6 million. And if you know where this is, it's up there in Alum Rock area, Mount Pleasant. Here's the thing. It's a busy road designed in obsolescence, right? If it's overpriced, it's going to sit. And remember, guys, if you're selling your house, you're going to go to 2 or 3 houses, maybe. You're going to go to a couple open houses and you'll compare and you'll be like, my house is better than that. Don't forget, we're slipping. Prices are contracting a little bit, not massive leaps and bounds like it was in 2008. But if you have your house set at a certain price because that's what you thought it was 6 months ago, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your realtor's time. Okay. And you're going to be sadly disappointed, especially when a market is contracting. If the market's contracting, you have to be very sensitive to time. You have to be sensitive to price. You still have to have the ability to control the tempo. But if you're overpriced, you're at the whim of the market, and the buyers know what your house is worth. And if your house is overpriced, remember, buyers go to 20, 30, 40 different houses before they actually settle on something. And they're not just looking at your house in your area and comparing it to the comps in your area. They're looking at Blossom Valley, Almaden, Cambrian, right? They're looking at different areas. So they're looking at all over. And if they're looking at a house that's listed at 1.8, 1.9 here in Alum Rock, and they can get the same house that's maybe 5% better for that same price, they're going to walk over there. They're going to go and buy that house instead of this house. Understand that buyers know what they're buying. Even in a firestorm of a market like it was in 2020, 2021, that market, people knew what they were buying and they knew that they had to be competitive. Here, they can be picky, and they're going to be picky. And if you have Christmas pictures with Christmas decor everywhere, you're dating yourself, especially if you have it priced over too high. I don't get me wrong, I love Christmas, but if you have a house and you don't have it staged and you don't have massive upgrades and you're asking a premium and a bag and a picture full of garbage, you're going to turn buyers off with that. Great, you have land, but you have to make that land look nice. This is over 2/3 of an acre. So there you go. All right, so here's the little chart right here. We already talked about it. The actives, we have 1,400 homes for sale right now. We have 273 of those are price reductions. We have 20% of the active listings have reduced price from 5,000, from 1,000 down to 50,000. Be aggressive in your pricing, people. Attract that market. You're not a market maker unless you live in Palo Alto. That's it for now. I'm Vito with Abitano. Thanks for watching. We'll see you out there.